Hello everybody, it's Mrs. Pound and we are studying chapter 5.2 on the respiratory and excretory systems from Purposeful Designs Life Science. Today we're going to talk about section 5.2.2 on the urinary system. So our objectives today will be to paraphrase how the body filters out waste products through the urinary system, name the major parts of the urinary system and describe their functions, and describe 3 medical problems that can arise in the urinary system. So the urinary system is the body's waste removal system. Think about and it's comparable to, say, the garbage trucks that take the waste from the city. Think about if the garbage was never picked up. What would happen? All that garbage would pile up and there would be disease. And the same thing is true of our body. All of that waste would pile up in our bodies and we would have disease. One of the waste products is urea, and this is toxic and is produced by the cells, and it ends up in your urine. So one waste product produced by the cells is urea. The urinary system depends on the circulatory system to transport the chemical waste that need disposal. So again, this is another system like the respiratory system that works hand in hand with the circulatory system. You can't have one without the other. So how the urinary system filters waste products. Blood flows into the kidneys through the renal arteries to the nephrons. So here is the unfiltered blood going in through the renal artery. And now you have 2 kidneys, that's why it was plural. So it goes in here and it goes into a nephron. And the nephrons are right here in the kidney. This is called the medulla of the kidney. And this is what a nephron looks like. It's actually quite complex, and there are a lot of those in your kidney. The nephron is a tiny filtering device in the kidney that removes harmful substances from the blood. So right there's that nephron. As it flows through the glomerulus in the nephron, large molecules and blood cells are held back, but water and smaller molecules are forced through the membrane. So this is the glomerulus, and the big particles stay in. The other particles go out. They're forced out. Smaller things like water and such. The filtrate flows into the tubules in loop of Henle where water and needed molecules are reabsorbed. So this is actually the loop of Henle here. It flows down in through here, and water is reabsorbed. Also salts. The kidneys are also really important for keeping the salt balance right in our bodies. And those go through there. A lot like, remember the large intestine reabsorbed water from the digestive system? That's its job as well. Because 180 liters of blood is filtered in your body in a day. But you only produce about 1 to 1.5 liters of urine. So most of that water is reabsorbed in the loop of Henle. The remaining liquid is concentrated into urine. The urine flows from the kidney through the ureter to the bladder for storage. So kidneys, the ureters are these tubes that go down to the bladder. It is stored in the bladder so that you're not constantly urinating, because that would be difficult. That would be smelly and nasty. And then it goes through the urethra, which is the passage to the outside of the body. So the ureter is the tube through which urine flows from the kidney to the bladder. Right here are the ureters. You have 2. You actually only need about 1/3 of your kidney function. You can actually live without 1 kidney. And the urethra is a tube that carries urine from the bladder to the outside of the body. Now, some problems with the urinary system. One are kidney stones. This is a small hard object that develops in the kidney. And these are bladder stones, but oftentimes they develop first in the kidney and they go to the ureters and they scratch up the ureters and irritate them. And so you'll have a lot of pain in your lower back where your kidneys are. If you have kidney stones, you also may have some blood in your urine because you are passing stones and they are irritating your ureters. A lot of times, one thing they have to do for this is they blast them with sound waves to get rid of them, which breaks them up and then you can pass them. Nephritis is the inflammation of the kidneys, and I have this picture of this woman grasping her back because that is what you would feel as pain in your back. And kidney failure is a condition that requires the use of dialysis to filter the blood. Kidney failure can have a lot of causes. One cause is high blood pressure. If you have high blood pressure for a long period of time, it can damage your kidneys, and then you may actually go into kidney failure. So that's one reason to watch your blood pressure. Another thing, I know one person who had a kidney transplant because they became ill and they took medications that damaged their kidneys. So they were on dialysis for a period of time. Now, on dialysis, it's 4 hours 3 days a week that you are hooked up to a machine like this. They also now have home dialysis machines. If you have a good setup at your house, you can actually do this process at home. And it filters your blood. It's a machine that filters your blood 3 days a week. Now, another thing that, before I go over our objectives, that I want to mention that was not mentioned in the book is that something you may have is a urinary tract infection. And these are quite common. And you know you have a urinary tract infection when you have a burning sensation when you urinate. And so if that happens, you need to get yourself to a doctor and they will give you an antibiotic. So that's probably the most common thing that you are most likely to have. So our objectives today were to paraphrase how the body filters out waste products through the urinary system, name the major parts of the urinary system and describe their functions, describe 3 medical problems that can arise in the urinary system. So don't forget your 5 questions in your notes and keep watching this video to answer the questions at the end.